Hello collectors, thanks for tuning in and catching the world premiere of my SH Figuarts Super Saiyan Gotenks review. Since you're watching this, you'll be treated to quite a bit, including a live chat with other collectors just like you, who are looking for an opinion on this one, behind the scenes commentary from me in the chat on some shots, and at the end of the video there will be an exclusive shot for the premiere, which will be edited out of the video once it goes up on YouTube normally. But if you do want to check out that shot after the premiere, it'll be up for my patrons on Patreon. Anyway, now take a seat, relax, and let's wait about 2 seconds for editing purposes and get on to the review. They are going fast, so make sure you order your Dragon Ball Figuarts at Big Bad Toy Store at the link in the description down below. Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Kaiju, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hello there collectors, it's Steven here, and welcome back to another SH Figuarts Dragon Ball review. This time, we're going to be taking a look at the SH Figuarts Super Saiyan Gotenks. This guy has been quite a bit divisive. Why? Well, some folks have really been wanting Best Boy in the SH Figuarts line, while other folks have wanted absolutely nothing to do with him. However, some of the Dragon Ball Figuarts released have been complete diamonds in the rough, and they have blown collectors out of the water. However, others have been total duds. Where does Gotenks fall? Well, let's take a look to see whether or not he's worth adding into your collection. Simply put, Gotenks actually does look pretty good. There are a couple of issues here and there. Mine in particular has a couple of quality control issues. They're just going to be paint drips on the right arm, and there's one issue that if you're not careful about, Gotenks will get a couple of paint chips as the years go by, but overall, there's not really much to complain about. So let's just go ahead and dive in and kind of look at a really nice looking figure. So when we take a look at the faceplates, gotta be honest with you, aside from at the really close up level, which, you know, the eyes don't look that great, Gotenks really does look pretty cool. The wash that is used to fill up the sculpt in the ears, pretty even, and then we do have some nice paint shading on the hair. Not too many folks may be pleased with the color used for the hair, but to be honest with you, I really like it. I think it's executed well. Those who have a close eye may notice that I have a paint chip on this faceplate for the hair on Gotenks. I'll show you why in a minute. Now when we go ahead and move down to Gotenks' chest, we can see that he is wearing his vest, and interestingly enough, this is cast in that very deep purple plastic, and the skin tone for Gotenks is actually painted. So it does look a bit, I don't know, pastelish. That's an issue that some folks might have, but overall, it actually does look fine, and the yellow used for the collar, it does have a small issue on the right side, but to be honest, that's nitpicking. The arms of Gotenks actually are well defined with some nice muscles, and the arm bands of Gotenks, aside from maybe not being masked 100% properly, actually look pretty good. Moving on down for Gotenks, the belt is really cool, nice details there, and the pants of Gotenks just as well, great details. Moving on down to the feet and ankles, not really much to say here. Oh, and for the back of Gotenks, the hair is nice and spiky, and they included shading there as well, and the back of the vest looks nice and wavy too. Overall, Gotenks looks really solid, no major complaints aside from quality control issues on mine, and as you're about to see, you may chip up the faceplates as the years go by. For articulation, Gotenks is a little bit of a mixed bag, because in some aspects he feels like a 1.0 body Figuarts, where in others, he pretty much feels up to date. What am I talking about? Well, the head is, let's just pop his face off here, on the typical swivel hinge ball joint combination, okay? Which you're like, what? Well, the head pops in on a ball joint, and then the neck joint here, where the head pops into the neck sculpt, is on a swivel hinge combo. So you're going to basically be able to get Gotenks to look around in any direction, and that is one of the biggest faults of Gotenks here. As you move his head around, if you don't have the faceplate pushed in super duper tight, which at that point, it will come loose over time, his faceplate will fall off. And it's just not even from super rough movement. It will happen in super easy, delicate movement. So, yeah. For those of you who are frustrated with joints not lining up perfect, so this way the sculpt looks great. The neck ball joint, as you can see, it moves around. Mine is never seated correctly. So he always has a slight tilt to his neck, as you can see there. I can never get that to line up properly, so you may have the same results on your Gotenks as well. When we move down over to the shoulders, we do have these parts of his nice vest, which are plugged into the shoulders on ball joints, so this way you can move them around a little bit. For his shoulders proper, they are on ball joints. No proper butterfly hinge, it looks like, which is kind of weird considering those are, kind of a standard for some of the Figuarts lately. Again, feels like a 1.0, just ball joints. And then we do have hinges, so this way he can raise and lower his arm just like that. We have bicep swivels, which is cool. And then, for some reason, they got rid of the double hinge on a previous prototype of Gotenks, and we only have a single hinge. And because he actually has muscles, that's about it. That is really frustrating when you go to get him to use the Kamehameha, or if you want him to cross his arms, which he can't really do. Yeah, that definitely does limit range. And you already know how Figuarts hands work. We do have hinge motion this way, and then we have swivel motion. So perfectly fine there. Gotenks does have an ab crunch, which actually works pretty well. He can tilt from side to side, which I think is the best feature for Gotenks when he goes to use the Galactic Donut, or when he's firing off the Kamikaze Ghost or Galactica Donut. Nothing is going to pull up there, which is, okay. He does have a waist joint, so this way he can spin around nice and easy. As you can see there, we do have the 2.0 style hips. So there is a swivel, which allows Gotenks to swing his legs forward and back. So about that far. And then we do have another swivel, so this way he can spin his legs out about that far normally without putting any pressure on it. But if you sort of tilt them from side to side, you can get a little bit more movement. Oh, by the way, this little portion of his belt is on a swivel as well. We do have double hinge knees, which is really weird considering they only went with a single hinge in the elbow there. We do have your standard ankle rockers for Figuarts, and then we do have a toe hinge. So overall for Gotenks, the articulation is a little frustrating, especially when that happens, and the limited range of the elbows is kind of frustrating. But at the end of the day, if you're creative, you can get the faceless wonder into some fun poses for your pictures. Unfortunately, Gotenks is a super expressive character, so when it comes to accessories, there's no way Bandai could please absolutely everyone. Fortunately, though, Bandai included a ton of accessories with this release. Well, that's maybe going a bit overboard. They included enough accessories in this release where they were able to hit the iconic moments with Gotenks, leaving fans at least pleased with this release. We get quite a few hand parts for this release. We get 2 faceplates, we get a Kamikaze Ghost, we get 1 Galactic Donut. I like Galactic, not Galactica. And we get a Tamashii Stage Axe support system that not only comes with a base, but 2 support arms and a claw. The claw, the support base, and support arm should be standard for all SH Figuarts, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and do a quick rundown of everything. We're going to look at the faceplates first, where we get 1 cocky yelling face, which that is the faceplate for Gotenks every day. The other faceplate is the something happened faceplate, which I really like that one too. It's pretty comical. That is one that I use for situations all the time where I need a little bit of comic relief. You know how to swap them out, so we're not going to take a look at that. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the hands, and we do get, to be honest, enough of them. We get some Karate Bugman hands, which honestly could be doubled as Kamehameha hands. We get peace hands, which, if you're from the UK, I apologize for what this means to you. We also get 1 pointing finger, which this can be used with a Kamikaze Ghost, and then there's 1 more hand, which we'll take a look at in a minute. Speaking of the Kamikaze Ghost, we get 1 of those with this Gotenks release, and to be honest with you, the quality control is actually pretty nice. Overall, there are no issues with this one, and he comes with a translucent plastic used for the hair. And the way that you use the Kamikaze Ghost is you just plug 1 of the Tamashii Stage Axe support arms into his back. Something to keep in mind for display purposes is that even if you have the support arm straight, the Ghost will be at a slight angle. Now for the other accessory, which Gotenks comes with a specific hand part for, is the Galactic Donut, which also comes with a special support part for. So that other hand is just a straight out splayed hand. Yep, kept you waiting for that. Overall, the Galactic Donut actually does look pretty nice, and it does have a rigid sculpt to it around the edges, so this way it's not just going to be a straight circle. For those of you who are hoping for a Figuarts Krillin renewal, I do hope that they are able to incorporate the overall method here for how they got this made compared to the two flimsy pieces of plastic that they used for the Destructo disc. Anyway, this is pretty straightforward to use. You just plug the little piece onto the top of the support arm, and then you just stick the donut into that little slit. And to be honest, it's easy to knock off, but if you use it securely, don't worry, it's not going to fall off. And what's even best about this is if you wanted to hold up two characters at once, you can do that without needing any form of support. Just be careful though, because the support piece is actually pretty fragile and you may break it. If you're using it for any amount of time after you get Gotenks, you just fiddle around with it for a little bit, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So overall for Gotenks, he comes loaded with effect parts and accessories and all the fun stuff, so I don't really know what else can be included aside from, well, maybe a Kamehameha effect part, another Ghost, or maybe even interchangeable parts for the Ghost, so this way he could have a long tail, or anything else for that matter. Hopefully, they'll come out with an accessory pack that comes with another Cybermen or two, and a couple more Ghosts. But anyway, one thing that I would recommend is picking up other effect parts for your Gotenks or even your other Dragon Ball Figuarts. I have a couple of videos for that for you, so this way you can really accentuate the overall display value of this little troublemaker. Definitely check out those videos. Now we're going to go ahead and wrap up this review with a size comparison, and this is one of the big parts of the controversy of Gotenks. Overall, for size, he is quite in an iffy scale, and he is a bit too big. He definitely looks a bit smaller than the prototype showed, but to be honest with you, he really should not be this big. He's pretty large. Some folks just can't get over that. So, buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Overall, Gotenks looks pretty solid, with only some minor quality control issues on mine. The articulation, it's serviceable, though they really should have stuck with the double hinge elbows, and the fact that the faceplate just falls off so easy is upsetting. The accessories are great. They did the best job that they could with such an expressive character, though I do hope an effects pack or an accessory set does come out sometime soon for Gotenks, or they do a base set head, or a Super Saiyan 3 head, which is probably coming down the line. I hope that they do release it. Oh, by the way, this guy is about $60. That's right. For about that price point, I do think that they maybe should have included a couple more faceplates, or maybe even base form head. Still, at the end of the day, for what you're getting, you should be happy with this release, despite the fact he has some flaws. Well, we're at the end of the premiere and ending of the video. And here's the exclusive shot that I promised. Again, this will be edited out of the review with YouTube's editing feature once it goes live normally for everyone to view. So I hope you enjoy it. However, it'll go up for my patrons on my Patreon in the next few minutes after the premiere. So if you're interested, head on over there and see what it's all about. Now, let's go ahead and roll the outro. Well, folks, that's the end of this review. Thanks for watching, and be sure to follow me on social media to catch more behind-the-scenes shenanigans and updates. The end card should be popping up now with more hand-selected STR goodness for you to watch, so check out some of those videos. Be sure to check the description, too, to see where you can buy this figure or others like it, and some cool links, like the credits for this video, and other ways you can help out the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.